He's got a few of his breeding nodules on his head. So I'm down at my local lake again today. Well, I was here back in March when there was like no lily pads and the water temperature was probably pretty nippy, but we've had, well, it's early May now and we've had all that hot April weather for a couple of weeks. It's just dropped today, so it's not baking hot, and there's been people having lots of tench out of here and bream. Yeah, I've just come up to the top lake because the bottom lake, there's carp spawning in there, so I've got to leave that alone. This looks nice though, so I'm gonna set up down here, fish a waggler out to here, probably lift method, Sweetcorn. Anyway, float fishing with Sweetcorn. And then over here, I'll chuck a like a cage feeder, and then just a simple rig, probably a small hooked hair rig, tiny cubes of luncheon meat, like 5-6 millimeter cubes of luncheon meat. I'll show you those in a bit, but I know tench like those. If not, bream will go for them. Yeah, it's looking really good actually. So yeah, I'll just set up and update you in a minute. Right, so this is my feeder rig. So, oh well, rod first. So it's a NTR commercial carp feeder rod and NTR reel. I actually won these both in an angling times competition a few years ago. It's quite exciting. I've got a Guru cage feeder here, loaded up with some Bait Tech dark carp feeder ground bait, loads of hemp, some Sweetcorn in there as well, and then I just poured a load of worm cell in it, so it's actually really wet. Hold on. Worm cell is this Nash bait product. It's basically squished up worms. It smells really disgusting. It's got loads of amino acids in, and yeah, it's basically liquidized worms. Tench love worms, so I thought that would be good. And then my rig after the feeder is, yeah, just a simple stop and swivel, and then 12 inches of about 8 pound, 6 to 8 pound line to a size, oh, can you see that? Size 10 hook hair rig to a 5-6 millimeter cube of luncheon meat. So I'm gonna chuck that out now. This is a quiver tip rod, by the way, and yeah, keep an eye on things while I set up a Waggler rod as well. So this is my float rod setup. So trusty Silstar rod, Mitchell match reel, and then the business end, a loaded Waggler, not a huge one, just with float stops there. And in this case, about 4 to 5 feet of depth, right onto the bottom with a swan shot. So I'm fishing the lift method. That will be, that weight will be right on the bottom, and then about 6 inches to a size 16 hook and a piece of Sweetcorn. So the idea is when the bait is taken, it lifts that weight off the bottom of the lake bed, and the float will go from a vertical to a laying on the surface. Or if they really go for it, the float will just go under and wang off. So that's the plan. I'm just gonna chuck it out to the edge of some lilies, yeah, about, I don't know, 15 feet out. And in the meantime, my feeder's just doing its thing. Haven't had any knocks on it yet. So yeah, I'll give that a go. Just throwing some hemp out. Not very accurately. A bit of corn. really doesn't go very far when you throw it. I cast my feeder out, sort of aiming for some lily pads halfway across the lake, and didn't cast that well, so I'm in sort of no man's land, slightly sort of 10 feet to the right of the pad, so I will bring that in a few minutes and recast. My float settled nicely, just by a bigger patch of lily pads here. So that's the tip of my Waggler float just out there. That's the swim, looking quite nice. The cage feeder's out there. I want to get it more there, or even far bank into there. Something I really worry about when fishing is if you're not getting any bites, as I'm not at the moment, you throw in more loose feed, loose bait to attract the fish, or do you leave it and only feed when you are getting bites? I know when you are getting bites you definitely should feed, but it's more if you're not getting bites, do you add more to try and attract the fish? I mean, I've chucked in a few handfuls, no, not even handfuls, but a few fingerfuls of hemp and sweetcorn, so it feels like I should just be waiting now. And then if I'm not getting bites, it's about presentation, and then maybe it's just feeding every 20 minutes or so, just assuming they are picking up the loose bait. I don't know. Really quiet at the moment, there's no feeding bubbles. I mean, there is the odd bubble, but it could just be gas coming up from the silt. I think we might be approaching that sort of midday lull. Just got to be patient. I think I'm going to keep feeding the hemp and the sweetcorn in, just as a general attractant. I've changed my float setup, it's not the lift method anymore, just to see if I'll, if there's a shoal of roach around, I just want to see that I'll get a bite. full stop. And I think with a little roach, the lift method is probably not going to work because that weight on the bottom is too heavy for them to really cause an indication. Okay, it's taken over an hour, but I finally got a bite and then struck far too early. But quite close in, only about 15 feet out. I threw in some hemp and sweetcorn and just fished over that, basically. It was I'm guessing probably a roach bite, but it's good. First fish in the swim. So yeah, just a little underarm cast one there, pretty much. Yep. Just letting the sweetcorn drift down with the weight of the hook, and then just sort of waft about near the bottom. Hopefully that wasn't a one-off. No, little nibble. Interesting to know if it's a shoal of roach or a little pack of bream. Tiny knocks on the float, and this is a weighted crystal, Drennan Carp crystal, something like that. So it takes a bit of a tug to pull it under. That's what I want. I don't want it indicating on like tiny little roach bites. next time I put my feeder out, I'm tempted to put in a bit of ground bait, then pack a few of the miniature cubes of luncheon meat, and then more ground bait. Just to get a bit of that garlicky luncheon meat into in around the feeder and the hook bait. The water is still really coloured here. Last time I was here in March, it was like chocolate milkshake. The visibility is still pretty poor. It's probably only about, I don't know, 6 inches, and then you lose sight of the Sweetcorn or whatever bait you're casting in. Sounds like it hasn't mattered though, people have been catching here. Tench overnight though, so probably fishing evening and then early hours of the morning. Quite active tench hours. Oh my god, I just missed the bite because I was talking to the camera. Taking the bait. No, that was a good bite as well. Ah. Right, I will keep feeding up this area. There's at least a few fish in there. That was a good positive bite, but I wasn't looking. Turned round and it just popped back up. There's definitely fish in the swim. The float's moving a bit like they do when fins are touching the line a bit, or at least wafting the line in the water. Tiny little bite. bubbles. Just becoming a bit more active now as well. Bite, all bobbed down and then up again, but float didn't go under fully. All I'm seeing is the tip of the float. Very, very focused. Everything else is peripheral. There we go. I think it's a bream or a... I think it's a bream. It's very silver. Coming in quite easily. Oh, right. Yeah, it's a youngish bream by the looks of it. Nice. That's a good bite. Bring it over. Oops. Ah, that's a cute one. Nicely hooked. Bottom corner of the mouth. Quickly take that out. Quite a lively guy. Just needs to calm down a little. There you go. Lovely skimmer bream. It's actually been bitten slightly by predatory fish at the top there. But yeah, gorgeous little, like, 1 pound bream, I guess. Yeah, I'll get him straight back in. Made a little squeaky noise. Yeah, he's off. Yeah, it's a really strong young bream. Just that little, like an old injury, probably got it when he was much smaller. Escaped a pike or a perch or something. But yeah, nice positive bite that. There's obviously a shoal of bream in the swim, so I'll just keep loose feeding that Sweetcorn and Hemp in and just keep them interested. Just cast out into the same spot, so straight back in. Obviously a bit of disruption in the swim, so I've just put a generous amount of Hemp and Sweetcorn in to try and keep the rest of the fish interested. Because where there's one fish like that, there'll be several. Certainly I know bream go around in little herds. I thought it was a, it was so silver, obviously young Bream are quite silver. I thought it was a decent roach. But then it gave in quite quickly, which is the distinctive behaviour of a Bream. And not a hard fighter at all. Mending the line. You've even got to do that in lakes sometimes. There's just drift. And the line between the rod and the float just drifts along on the surface until it starts pulling the float round. I think there's still fish in the swim. There's your bubble coming up. When there's been bream around in this lake, I have also caught tench. They may or may not follow them around. Tempted to get an underwater camera, but I think here the water's too thick and muddy at the moment. I don't think I'd see much. Float's quite anchored where it is, which probably means that piece of Sweetcorn has just sort of lodged into some silt on the bottom. It's what I'm looking for. I may stick 2 bits of sweet corn. Oh, that was a little bite. May stick 2 bits of sweet corn on the hair rig on the feeder. It does seem to be the go-to bait here. You can catch everything on it. Yeah, a little bite. Didn't take the float all the way under. That bite took 1 piece of sweet corn off, left 1. That's the other one. Need to untangle the line here. There we go. Cast this out to clear a tangle on the reel as well. Where is that? There. What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't be a horrible bird's nest. Think. Is it okay? No, not really. Ah. Right, sorry, I'm going to stop filming. Right, as I said I was going to do, I've switched to hair rigging. 2 pieces of sweet corn. See that? Not very well. Yeah, 2 bits of sweet corn on the size 10 hook. And the cage feeder, and just keep that ground bait with all the worm cell and sweet corn and hemp going in. Yeah, on the hook, I think they might just be more interested in some corn here. So let's give that a go. Very, very wet ground bait this. Poured too much worm cell in. That's better. It was better than the line caught round the lily pads. Got it out. Let's probably have to fill that up again. Yeah. Take 2. Was a good cast. It was just the bow in the line, the spare line got caught around some lilies. I obviously want to cast close to the lilies. It's a feature. That was a bit too close. Now there's more hen in the way. Mate, get out of the way. Okay, he's gone. Nice. Okay. Line is free. That's better? Cool. What's to do with this Waggler? Forest mine Waggler. Oh, here, great. 2 bits of corn on. Okay. Back out. Perfect. Okay, that's roughly where I'm getting fine. Slope is drifting a lot there. Bit of surface current. That's better. Little knocks on the float again. A few kind of feeding bubbles or activity bubbles, I suppose. I have to remember to strike up or to the left because my other rod is just above my float rod. Gonna whack into it. Come on, guys. Definitely fishing the swim, my float is moving a bit. Lots of float movement, not bites, just bobbing around, probably because of disruption to the line. There's a shoal down there, or a few bigger fish, hopefully. There's something nibbling my bait, but it's too small and shy. Waiting for that bigger fish, confident one. roach by the looks of it on Sweetcorn. Yeah, just a little roach. I think he is. Yeah, not a rudd, he's a roach. So yeah, got a little shoal of these guys now, hopefully. Let me show you him. Beautiful, very silvery. Yeah, cute little few ounces. Nice positive bite. Yeah, flawless roach. And away. Yeah, so I will keep feeding. That was a single piece of corn. I was getting nothing on 2 bits of corn, so it's kind of a bit weird and unnatural, I suppose. There's theories on double corn, triple corn, whatever, but here it seems to be single corns working, so I will stick to that. Oh, hi. Yeah, that's okay. I'll see you around 2 p.m. XXX. Sorry, I didn't read that properly. 2:30 is cool. I've caught a couple of fish. XXX. So I've just realised I've recorded sending a voice message to my wife. That was fascinating. Got a little semi bite there. Moved along but not under. Chap just went by, he's fishing down the other end of the lake and he's getting his bream today. Targeting tench but just getting bream. He fished somewhere Linsworthy, or no, can't quite remember. Anyway, a lake in Newport yesterday. And he said he had about 14 tench and lost 9. He's had his quota of tench, I feel. I'm owed one, just one. Just fishing off the end of my rod tip really, just a few more feet out. Seems to be where I'm getting the bite. It's essentially fishing in the margins. That is a part of the lake that the tench will patrol. They do go round in shallow water. Come on. Feels like there's a big fish in there. Well, I know they are. There are tench up to at least 9 pounds in there. That's the dream. Knock on the float. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I just cast there because I saw what could have been tench feeding bubbles and much further out, another foot 15 feet out. So I just cast to where they were. I'm not at the right depth further out there. Not on the bottom. detritus on there. That's okay. Actually just going to cast my feeder out to roughly where those tench feeding bubbles were. Get it on the deck. Just not very far out. Closer in with the Waggler. Got some really nice feeding bubbles around my float there, and a sort of half bite, got dragged along slightly under, not all the way under. You know, when it's not, can't quite strike, it's not proper. Now I'm just worried that fish is taking the sweet corn off the hook. Just leave it a few minutes. Had a bigger fish feel to it. Bait's still on. Straight back out. Loose feed. Definitely feeding bubbles. nice bite. Totally fluffed it. About half a second too late then. Right. Nice bit of sweet corn straight back on. Have a small moan here. I think sweet corn's got less good over the years. I bought Green Giant, which I thought would just be the best sweet corn. It's really no better than just the normal supermarket stuff. I think it's something called Niblets or something. They're probably like the prime ones, aren't they? I need to buy those. About sweet corn.
Oh,
you're right.
There you go. Much action?
Bream and roach. Seems to be a lot
Still
of them.
counts.
It totally does. I mean, yeah, I was blanking for the first hour, so I'm just happy there's fish in the swim now.
Yeah. The lad there was saying when the bream come in, often the tench come in with, and
yeah, they do. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely had that here, so it's worth attracting any fish, and then you
yeah,
might get a tench. I mean, I'm sort of in the margins here, really. It seems to be where the bites are coming. And
yeah,
got to feed them more out in the middle a bit.
yeah.
There's a deeper channel through them.
It's nice actually down there. I just
Yeah.
live not far away. I'm sussing out taking my kid tomorrow, but
Yeah, it's
if it's
definitely.
£10 to £10, as that lad was saying, then I'll. That's what
This
you
top
reckon.
lake is £7, I think.
Oh right, well,
The bottom one's closed because they're spawning. You can't.
yeah,
I've never had any luck there, really. I think you have to properly carp fish there, really.
right,
No, for like, you know, bring up some maggots or corn, and it's really good just for catching, you know, nice roach up to, I don't know,
£1 and stuff. Yeah,
half a pound or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got lots of roach in here at the moment. I put some bream.
it's not a bad bream though.
It's okay. Oh, it's foul hooked.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's rolled on the line. I think. I have had big bream in here, but it's
Yeah, I
like
grew
foul
up
hook.
catching on a lake where it's bream, and then the odd. We used to call them slabs, one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, definitely, like dustbin bits.
But I just got almost sick of catching bream because I caught so many, you know.
Yeah, and they don't fight, do they?
Is that real? That's almost like the real I started fishing.
Yeah, it's a Mitchell match.
Yeah, I
always,
think my dad gave me one of them. Yeah, that's a classic.
I had a friend with one, and I thought, I've always wanted one of those, so I just looked on eBay and found one for
really?
like 35 quid or something.
Nice.
Just sort of took it apart and... Oh, it's quite a chunky one.
Yeah, it's not a bad fish.
It is actually properly hooked, so it rolled. Oh, good luck. Oh, steady now. Steady on. Steady on. Right, let's unhook here. There we go. That's nice. Yeah, nice bream. While I was chatting to that guy, it's like a just trying to guess. I mean, it's like a £3 bream. I think this big slab. There you go. He's got a few of his breeding nodules on his head. Yeah, it's a good size. Just a little film of that. He's chunky. 2.5, something like that, yeah. It's actually still quite lively. The thing with bream is that people don't like catching them because I'm just going to calm this guy down. You can suck on my finger. Even though they're lovely big fish, can get big, people don't like catching them because they don't fight. They really just come straight in, as that one did. Right, straight back in anyway. he goes. Well, he was really healthy. Yeah, decent fish that. What happened was really healthy, positive bite, down and diagonally away, straight into him. And then he sort of almost immediately rolled on the line. So I just sort of dragged him in sideways, and even though he was hooked properly in the mouth. But yeah, nice. I mean, I'm happy with chunky bream like that. If only they could just fight a bit harder. Got about 20 minutes, half an hour left of this session. Just keeping the hemp and sweetcorn feeding in. Yeah, sort of 20 feet out where I've been getting these roach and bream. Basically, where there's big bream, there should be tench cruising along as well. Sort of day where you want to be able to stay till the evening, but I can't do that today. Waiting for a bit of float activity again. Just wonder whether that larger bream I just got has cleared out the swim a little bit. Commotion. Although frankly there wasn't a lot compared to your average fish. There's tench bubbles out there again, but I am at the wrong depth still. Line's getting caught on my reel somewhere. Can't figure out where. No, that's not that. Okay. Stay out there. And I'm shallow, but give it a go. Tell I'm not on the bottom because the float is drifting along. You know, I'm loath to fish where I haven't been feeding it up. You know, I know there's fish close in here. So I think I'll just stay focused on this area. Inadvertently good cast right on the edge of the river pad. Just immediately drifted away. activity again, a little bit of a bobbing off the float, some feeding bubbles. Yeah, something's nibbling on the Sweetcorn. The hemp really seems to draw fish in. It's nice striking and connecting with a bit of weight of the fish, you know, something a couple of pounds or bigger, like immediate resistance, rather than a tiny roach flying through the air towards you. Slight drift left to right here, like fishing an incredibly slow river. Not, I think. A good fish to finish off the session. Loose feeding to try and keep the shoulder fish feeling confident. And essentially one bait in many hundreds has got a hook in it. get a bad press, but that Bream made me really happy catching it. Had some weight to it, it was good looking as well.